Well, hey everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Zero Dark 30, blasting out of the bunker, coming into your world and bringing you, well, enlightenment about the darkness. What is the darkness? Well, it's a lot of things, but this talk is going to be about DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion in the U.S. Army. Not a good scene, folks. Now, just remember, everything about this show is just comedy. It's just satire. Boy, couldn't possibly be true, is it? Take a look out your window. You gotta laugh, or you might just cry. Check the news headlines, folks. We're in a world of hurt. It has hit the fan, and it is not gonna be a pretty story, folks, to tell grandkids. Not this part of it, anyways. So, DEI, laughingly, should be called DIE because it kills everything it touches. Now, sadly, the foundation for every successful nation, empire, is a strong military. Should it be used for conquest, destruction, right? And basically organized theft? No, that's not really the best way to run things if you're a nice, decent human being. But what a strong military should do is secure the nation from foreign attack and deter countries from fighting with you or near you or amongst other nations you are allies with. That's what a good military does. And if needed, the military goes in and has to fight. Hopefully successfully stopping the enemy from, well, conquering you and looting you and stealing you, etc., etc., etc. So, the United States of America has, for the past 100 years, had a dominant military. Extremely dominant. Am I correct? Oh yeah, I'm correct. An extremely dominant military. Well, what has happened? What happened to the United States of America? I'll tell you, a lot has happened to it, folks. And it's not getting any better. The numbers continue to come in. I remember reading something about the U.S. Army is missing its recruiting numbers by 25%. Well, it's gotten worse. It has gotten a lot worse. I'm going to use round numbers, 45 and 25. So the U.S. Army has dropped from its goal of 45,000 new recruits in the last period of time to 25,000-ish. They've almost lost half of what they need. So analysts are looking at this. They're asking the question, why? Well, they looked at the numbers also and the demographics, and they realized, here it is. Are you ready? White men are no longer interested in serving in the United States Army. Now, wait a minute. Didn't we see a commercial a month and a half ago, 2 months ago? No, it wasn't that long ago. It was about a month and a half, where they showed a bunch of corn-fed white boys, Midwest-looking, healthy young lads, falling out of the back of a helicopter, parachuting in, all smiling and yucking it up like they're having a good time. Not a person of color to be seen in that commercial. In an attempt to convince, that was an attempt to convince them to join, to entice them. Why don't they just be honest, the military, and especially the Army at this point? Not that the Air Force is any more macho, or the Navy for that matter. Why don't they just have a commercial with a really hot trans drag queen telling them to be all they can be. And say, this is what the Army's about. It's about cutting your nuts off. And why not have a commercial saying, hey, if you're white, you're not going to get promoted. You're going to be looked over. You're going to be shit on. You're going to be the subject of reverse discrimination. Openly, and no one gives a fuck. You're a piece of shit. Join the Army. Because that's what diversity, equity, and inclusion is. Diversity means a lot of everything, which in truth means, what do they want? They want every fruitcake known to man to think it's safe for them to come out and play. Equity is not equality. Equity is fairness. Who decides what's fair? Lloyd the Loser Austin, Secretary of Defense, who will not even show up to work now, supposedly has cancer, right? Has kept that hidden. And inclusion means, well, we have to allow everyone in. Folks, they're setting us up. Whites are rejecting it because they're going to be treated like shit and they know it and they don't want anything to do with it. Veterans, myself included, are not encouraging people to join the military. Why would you? Ideally, yes, so that you can protect America. Well, America is being destroyed from within. Ideally, you join for the training. That's right. So you are trained. There are many skills and life lessons taught in the military. Many, many, many life lessons taught in the military. And you can pass them well or you can pass them poorly, but you will pass them or you will die. And that's life. You don't get it, you can get those skills other places. You can get a lot of experience other places. I know that. The world doesn't consist of all veterans. But they're chasing white people out of the military and then complaining about it as if they're the problem. So we get to the big question. How can our nation, how can the empire of Western civilization defeat enemies that attack them? Well, no one's attacking them. No one really can attack them still. Remember those nuclear warheads? No country can really, truly attack without risking that. So, what is going on? They're using DEI to kill the interest of good Americans. And they're going to recruit all the foreigners. You bet. They're going to have to open that up. They're going to open up the military to illegal aliens as a path to U.S. citizenship. How's that for a theory? It's a hell of a theory, is it not? Now you got a bunch of people who don't look American. And I'll tell you, there's a look to Americans. We have a look in our eye, not necessarily a look in our skin. There's an attitude about Americans, right? Some countries call it the ugly American. Other countries are happy and pleased to have the American attitude of, you know what, we're not going to take your shit. You know what, we're going to get it done. There's a lot of American attitude that's good. It's not all ugly American. But can you imagine having an American military that's willing to shoot its own citizens? Anyone. Can you imagine an American military that looks like a vanilla branch of MS-13? They don't need all 45,000 of those recruit seats filled because they're not going to worry about foreign wars the way they used to. Why should they? They've got drones and they've got nukes. So what kind of force do they need? That's right. They need a civilian police force. for martial law. How about that? I'll just go full tinfoil hat on you. But what does the evidence suggest? The evidence suggests a lot of things based on policy. The government of Washington, D.C. hates this country. They hate the Constitution that restricts them. They hate the courts. Oh, yes, they do. They hate the courts because the American people still have confidence that the courts will do something at some point. They hate white people. They hate Europeans. They hate law. They hate order. They hate straight people. At least they do for the time being, because it's a divisive tool they can use to take this country. That's what the evidence suggests. The evidence suggests, based on evidence, that the military is going down. The U.S. Army is going down. Marine Corps, not so much. But the Army, down. Don't worry. Adolf Hitler took out the SA, the German Army, when they became a threat to him. Too scary. Had to get rid of them. Don't worry. Stalin, when he felt threatened, killed half of his officer corps because they threatened him. So they will disband and deconstruct the U.S. Marine Corps if they have to. They will build the U.S. Army out of miscreants and criminals if they need to and they want to. And the evidence suggests that that is the direction they are going. Too many reports of massive percentages of the illegals coming here being young men of military age in good physical condition. It's just, it's an exercise using arithmetic, right? Arithmetic, mathematics, formulas, history. It's not too complex if I can figure it out. Have you figured it out? Chance favors the prepared mind. Chance does. Boy, does it, and howdy. This has been another exciting, satirical, comedic, sarcastic, sardonic edition of the Prepared Mind's Zero Dark 30. Are you prepared? Chance favors.